If you're not using your affected arm in day-to-day activities, then you could be impeding your chances of recovery. Neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to make new pathways between the brain and the muscle that's required after a stroke in order to regain function, that requires consistent and repetitive movement. So if you're exercising your affected arm, say a half an hour to 2 hours a day, that's great, but the remaining 22 plus hours, if that arm isn't doing anything, then you're giving up your chance to really work on making those stronger connections with the brain and muscle. What I want to do today is describe to you the 4 levels of hemiplegic arm use. And then with each level, I will discuss and demonstrate ways that you can begin using your arm more and more with your day-to-day activities. So let's get started. The first level I want to talk about is using your arm as a stabilizer. And this level occurs when your arm may be flaccid or limp. You don't have really any functional movement. You may have limited shoulder movement, and that's about it. Or it may be where you're beginning to get contracted, and again, you may just have a little movement. So when you're sitting down, what you want to do is grab the arm, place it up and out from you, put it on the table. Open your fingers if you can, and that way, you know, you can see it and you can eat like that. And then also, if you like to read, bring that arm in, open your book, and then you can place that arm as a stabilizer on your book. Yes, it's a little more work, but that arm becomes more of a part of you. Another thing you can do is if by chance you write at all, write letters or you journal, go ahead, open your notebook, place that arm on the page to just again, stabilize it so then you can begin writing. In the kitchen, you can go ahead, take your arm, put it on the counter, get your bowl, put it between your belly and the arm, get that arm as a stabilizer to hold the bowl, and then you can stir. In the bathroom, you can put your hand on the counter, get your toothpaste, place your hand over the toothpaste to stabilize it. That way with your good hand, you can unscrew it or open the lid, grab your toothbrush, press down with your good hand to squeeze out the toothpaste. There you go. Now in the bathroom, what you can do, say you're in the tub sitting on a stool, you can take your washcloth, put it on your leg, either add your pump soap or body wash, bar soap, get it wet, and then put the soap on there, turn it upside down, scrunch it up, and then take your affected arm, place it on the washcloth, and while supporting it and moving your arm, you can wash your legs, okay? You can go down as far as you feel comfortable and safe. Using that same concept, you can take your dish rag, get your hand, put it on it. You can wash counters this way. You can do the same thing with dusting. Yes, it may be frustrating and overwhelming to always be trying to place that arm to stabilize things, but at the same time, if you don't use it, then your brain's not getting the message that that arm is a critical part of your body. The second level of arm use is called gross assist. Gross meaning large. So at this point, typically you do have some shoulder movement, possibly some elbow movement, and typically the wrist and hand aren't quite functional yet. So at this level, you may be able to use your arm, reach up and open a cabinet. You may be able to get your arm out there to turn your sink on or off. You can now use your arm to wash your counters. You may still need to help it in certain directions. You can use your arm more independently to dust. You can also begin to use your affected arm to help in washing windows or wiping down boards if you can make those big movements. And what you may want to do is take your hand and wrap around the cleaning cloth or the paper towel around the hand. If you can squeeze it, that would be great. If you can't, you can then fasten it with the rubber band. But then that way, you can make the movements to clean the board. And if you need to, you can use two hands. When you're in the shower sitting down, you may be able to use a shower mitt or one of these shower poofs and squeeze it enough to be able to wash your arms more independently, your legs. And again, if you're having problems, you can use your good arm to assist it. These foam cylinders are great for building up handles of everyday objects so that you can use your affected hand more easily. Now, I don't have a foam cylinder, but they do come in, various sizes, and even for like a big handled brush like this, if you don't have a cylinder, I would recommend to get them, and those are available on Amazon, and you can see in the link below. But until you get them, or if you aren't able to afford them, you can take a washcloth and tape it around certain items. That way, I just want to show you how it builds up the handle, and if you have that movement in your arm, then you can begin, maybe brushing your hair. And, then you can assist it as needed. But you can use those cylinders for utensils. And even if it's your non-dominant arm that's affected, I would still spend some time during the day to use that in, combing your hair and eating, whatever, because the more you use it, the more the brain is making those connections, and it realizes that you want to use it, and it's a valuable part of your body. I know for a lot of people, pulling up your pants is difficult, especially to get over the hip on the affected side. So I've seen people, when they get their pants up to here, put it over your affected hand and then pull up. That way you get over your backside and you get over your hip pretty easy. Now, the third level of hemiplegic arm use is called functional assist. And that's because you can use your affected hand, although it's a little weak, awkward, a little bit uncoordinated, but you're using it more and more to assist your unaffected hand. So at this point, you can use your affected hand more functionally, and you may be able to pick up like a large handled hairbrush and brush your hair. Again, it may not be to your expectation or how you would like to do it, but go ahead and begin using that arm as much as you can, and then you can just kind of fine-tune it with your unaffected arm. So you can start brushing your hair, you can pick up a large size pen and begin writing large letters. Even if it's not your dominant hand, go ahead and practice. I wouldn't try to write your name in cursive or small letters. Maybe start with 2-inch printing letters or 1-inch printing, but just start using it more functionally that way. You can, at this point, pick up the toothpaste and squeeze it. At this point, you may even be able to pick up your toothbrush, begin brushing your teeth, and even though, like I said, the main point is it may not be to your expectation, but don't let that stop you. Go ahead and use your affected arm as much as you can, and then you can go back with your dominant or your unaffected arm afterward, and complete to your expectations then. At this point, you can also begin trying to lace your shoes, to tie bows, practice with large buttons. You just want to be using that affected arm throughout the day. As often as you can, make it a part of your normal routine to have it assist you in getting ready for the day and whatever you do throughout the day. The final level of hemiplegic arm use is independent movement or functional movement. And that's where you have regained, all normal movements, but your hand just may be a little bit weak and a little uncoordinated. So go ahead and continue to practice. You can do typing, writing, bouncing a ball, throwing a ball, threading nuts and bolts, picking up coins. Just use that hand as often as possible. Again, it may be a little frustrating, but with anything, practice really helps. So hopefully this video got you thinking about how you can use your affected arm and hand a little bit more in your day-to-day activities. And I'd love to hear from you. If you could just comment below about what level you're at and what you've been doing, that would be great. So thanks for joining me. Till next time.